things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
Auto repair with personal care.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks. It is Hump Day. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, coming to you from the studios of WOCA Radio, located just off the runway in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida. Galen, you know I was on the phone lines with me as he is every day. Brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, Penn Flooring, and JustShip.net. Galen, good morning to you.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? How are you today, my man?
Well, I'm a little perplexed, and I need you to help me out. You know, when I get confused, I go to somebody not near as smart as me and ask him for advice. And that's you.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm all you got. I think you're settling.
Well,
let's
be honest. You're like Coach Spurrier said. You're free and you're available. Okay.
Both are true.
Yes. I watched yesterday as the results came in. Every Democrat in the White House, every Democrat in the Congress, 3 out of 4 Republicans in the Congress voted in the affirmative. And I'm the first to say, I've said it numerous times, that the Ukrainians need help and assistance in this fight against Vladimir Putin, because I think he's a madman. You and I have talked at it ad nauseum. We're not going to rehash where we stand on that. They okayed $40 billion in one of the most nonpartisan or bipartisan votes that we've seen come out of Washington in a very long time. Now, while the Ukrainian threat I think is a threat that the world should look at, and America, being part of the world, should help with that threat, the Russian takeover to Ukraine, that threat. I believe a bigger threat to our nation's security is our unsecured southern border. Can we agree on that? That's a bigger concern to the United States than the Ukraine. Am I right there?
Absolutely.
So from 2016 to 2020, what some call arrogant, what some call crass, what a lot of people said wasn't their president, Donald Trump, tried with a Congress that was on his side some and a Congress that wasn't on his side most of the time to get $5 billion to shore up the southern border. How the hell is it good enough to send $40 billion to the Ukraine, but we couldn't vote in $5 billion to save our southern border? I'm confused. Help me out.
Well, I think the struggle I have is, right now we have like one toe in the water of this fight. We're either in or we're not. I think all we're doing is, and I think this is really what the U.S. wants. They want this to just become a battle of attrition, and that for some reason the Russians will quit. But they can't. I mean, that's not who they are as a people.
Vladimir Putin would lose face if he did that.
That's right, and he's never going to do that. And they do not mind slogging around in a war for the next 20 years. And I don't get it. I don't understand spending that money when and again, you know me, I'm a small government guy anyway. Right now we're in the middle of an inflation, even though Biden doesn't think his policies directly had an impact on it. But why, if you want to give away money so badly, well, why not give it back to us and say, hey, okay, this will, granted, it will double inflation, but maybe you're just like, we're going to do tax cuts. We're going to put it into our power grid that we talked about yesterday that is very, very vulnerable. I don't know. Maybe even put it to electric cars. I don't know. I don't get it. This is, and by the way, I really believe I'm a bit of a conspiracy theory. I admit it. But I think a big chunk of this comes from our defense side of our economy. And the defense side is like, heck yeah. Give them this money. They'll buy planes and jets and rockets and all of this from us. And then the defense industrial machine, that war machine that we always talk about, can just keep on rocking. And that's what they want. Because that's what we've done, right? We've gone to the war in Afghanistan, and we went from Afghanistan to Iraq to Afghanistan to Syria, and now we have a war in the Ukraine. And so the defense industry can continue to keep mobilizing and keep building these Patriot rockets. They love it. That's who wins in all this.
I just think with with thousands upon thousands flowing over the border unchecked, we don't even know who they are, being sent on buses to cities all over the country, and for 1/8 of what they're sending to the Ukraine in a vote that was all Democrat and 3/4 of the Republicans. Yet they don't want to do anything to shore up our southern border.
Sure. Well, they know that
what is a bigger threat to America? The Ukrainian-Russian crisis or fentanyl flowing over the southern border?
You're dead on here, Tom. I just think they would say you're conflating two different issues. I respect what you're saying. But this has more to do with the
I'm just that it's not to me, and I'm glad you said that, because to me, it's not two separate issues. It's a money issue, period. It's strictly a money issue. $40 billion to something that's happening 8,000 miles away versus $5 billion that could help shore up something that happened, something that's happening 1,000 miles away, and in this country.
Congress has never, federal government has never been fettered by money. You know that.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
We still don't even know
we'll
what
just
the heck
print
we
more.
did with the trillions, right? We don't know what happened to the trillions of money we spent on COVID. They can't figure.
Sure you do, Galen. They gave $600 checks and $1,400 checks.
Oh, but we know only a small portion of it went to that. Again, this is a massive problem, and I'm glad you brought it up. But I think this has more to do with the defense industry than anything.
And by the way, it was reported.
And that's a massive lobby group too.
It was also
reported. They put money into elections.
It was also reported yesterday that the IRS, to clear up some of its backlog, if you filed it, and I think the IRS has said you shouldn't file paper returns. If you file paper returns, you need to check with the IRS, because they destroyed 30 million paper returns just to help clear up a backlog.
Sure, I heard
just
that.
Destroyed them.
I haven't done a paper.
Well, I understand, but some people, 30 million people did paper returns.
Man, I literally, Tom, I would be like, huh? Because I use the software application that's under some kind of a lawsuit, and I fill it out, and there are questions on there. I don't know. You have to hit that help button. I hit that help button for like 5 different things. So, yeah. All right.
30 million returns just destroyed. Yeah, well, sorry about your luck.
I haven't written a check in 3 years, and I have one person who cleans my pool that we have to write a check to. And I'm like, I don't want to go buy checks for one guy. Checks. And I'm like, you don't have Venmo, you don't have Cash App?
What is a check?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, and it takes. I write one check, and it takes like 3 to 4 weeks for it to clear.
And 30 years ago, I'm 25 years old. I'm in finishing up college at Georgia Southern, and we wrote checks for everything. We
Well,
wrote
that's
checks
because
for.
we didn't
We
have
wrote
any
checks
money.
for. We wrote check, but checks were accepted everywhere. They took checks at
Sure.
convenience stores in Statesboro.
Absolutely. Well, and they were all floated. I remember in college,
Most
It's
expensive,
Wednesday.
6-pack of beer I ever bought was
Damn
at the
right.
was at the
Damn
Fast and Easy on Fair Road in Statesboro, Georgia. I wrote it for $4.85 for a 6-pack of beer. Bounced the check, cost me $37.50 plus the $4 and something for the 6-pack of beer.
And you would have done, in hindsight, you would have done it all over again too. I mean, it was
Oh,
necessary.
that was the only time I
had-
knew that I was writing a bad check. It
No.
wasn't the only time.
Oh,
I was in
had,
college.
my checking account. Yeah, my checking account in college was the Navy Federal Credit Union, and so I knew that check had to go all the way to Virginia
And back.
and
Yeah.
back, right? And I'm like, oh, I got 2 or 3 days on this bad. But
Exactly.
the problem was when and I got paid by the GI Bill twice a month, right, on the first and the 15th. And the problem is sometimes I would have money in there, but I would forget to write it down in that check register, and it would bounce. Even though when I wrote it, I had money. It just took 10 days to clear.
Well, and
Yeah.
who in their 50s doesn't remember, as you use checks for everything when you were in college and stuff, their late 40s, early 50s, that we would also circumvent the bad checks by writing a bad check to Publix because they would cash
Oh,
a
you're
check
darn
for
right.
you. Oh,
You're darn right.
you'd go to 3 Publixes, cash check for $75 at each place, get $225. I funded a spring break writing 3 checks that way to Publix.
Or whatever, you knew where to go.
Yeah.
And the great thing was is you would write a check for like $1.50.
100%.
How much is that at the $1.52? Like right now, if you went into Publix and somebody in front of you is writing a check,
I would stab them
you
in the
are
neck with a
leaving
pin.
that aisle.
No, I'm stabbing
You
them in the
are
neck.
leaving
I'm
that
taking the
aisle.
pin from them and stabbing them in the neck.
There was a guy and I was in the lane, and I was about to put all of my groceries on the conveyor belt, and he wiped out his wallet and started counting cash. I put the 2 items back in and went to another aisle. Cash. They ain't got time for cash either.
Okay, now you stepping.
I'm
a little
crazy
out of
though.
line.
I'm
You are
crazy.
crazy. You are crazy.
And
Hey, we got to take a
But
break.
again, I do want to just to put it in a loop. Congress treats our bank account the way we treated our bank account while we were in college.
100%. 100% they
That's
do.
it.
We got to take a break.
That's how we got there.
Hey, I got to do
There
a
you go.
little update. There is no phone line. You cannot call in. Sorry, we're working on it. We've had a new system installed, and it malfunctioned yesterday. So they are working. They're efforting to get it up and running. So if you wanted to call in and you called yesterday and the office phone to tell us that the phone lines were not working or they were busy, so tell Tom to hang them up, well, they're broke. That's why that is. So they're trying to fix it. The phone company's involved and everything. So we'll try to get our phone lines back as soon as possible because it is kind of, important with talk radio. So we'll be back at this time out. You're listening to WOCA, Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Here's the latest from the College of Central Florida. On Wednesday, May 18th at 10:35 a.m., Dr. Alan Daniff and Dr. Rob Wolf from CF will tell us how members of the community can share their experience by becoming an adjunct instructor at CF. So tune in to hear how rewarding it can be to share your knowledge in the classroom. That's Wednesday, May 18th at 10:35 on Higher Education Happenings on Ocala Talks on WOCA, The Source.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. Galen, joins us from Life South, as he does every day, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, and occupational and speech therapy. If you have any questions how they're handling the pandemic, call 352-854-6262. We'd also like to thank family-owned and operated Penn Flooring. Penn Flooring is a full-service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solutions for your flooring needs. They have experience in both commercial and residential flooring. Go see their fantastic showroom at 1201 Southwest 17th Street here in Ocala. Give them a call at 352-351-3420. And, of course, justship.net. Go online, set up an appointment for them to pick up your item. They'll come pick it up. They'll ship it off for you. Or now, if you're out and about and you want to drop it off, there is a brick-and-mortar drop-off store now for Just Ship at 811 North Magnolia. Justship.net for all your shipping needs. Galen, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Sometimes I get fed up with what Congress does, so I got to talk about other things. And this here is in the realm of, well, what do you expect to happen? The guy who got beat down by Mike Tyson has agreed not to file charges, so authorities will not file criminal charges against Mike Tyson after, the video was released of him smacking a fellow passenger around on JetBlue. But I have heard Tyson's been banned from the Oscars for the next 20 years.
That's pretty good. No, he's now, right? I mean, they didn't do any real damage. But from henceforth, he goes, anybody goes, oh, man, that's like getting punched like Tyson. Like, look, dude, I've been punched by Tyson. This is far worse. Or, no, that's far worse. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your story is, bro, his story is better than yours for the rest of his life.
Here's the thing about the guy that got beat up. He's gonna, everywhere he goes, he'll show that video to people as like a badge of honor, and some moron will pick up his bar tab every night.
Yes, you get a story like that.
Oh yeah,
you're taking selfies with the guy.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, yeah. I mean, like, what?
I got your drinks, dog. Don't worry about it. You survived Mike Tyson. You survived Mike Tyson. Yeah. I'm buying your drinks.
He's like, what'd you say to him? And all of, I mean, come on. And by the way, if you're in a bar like in a town you've never been to or whatever, and you sit down next to that guy, you want that kind of story because then you can go tell your bros that you got this story. I love it. Good for that kid.
I have a story like that and I'll tell you off the air who it was, but it was a very famous person. Famous person in sports, just like Tyson, but not like Tyson, but a famous person in sports you'd know, who showed up in a town you wouldn't expect him to show up in, and he can party. Let's just leave it at that. But I'll tell you off the air who that was, and it leads to anytime I see certain people that know that story, they call his name out in reference to that story, just because they know immediately what it is. So.
That's why you want to once in a while you want one of those events. You're like, I survived it, and I got a heck of a story to tell.
Yeah, that was called my 20s.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I survived it, and I got a heck of a story to tell.
That's right. Yeah.
But I mean, and then the report goes on to say, and Mike Tyson decided not to file charges as well.
Well, again, it's Tyson. Yeah, I mean, same thing. It keeps Tyson's in the news, and I think he likes that. Who cares?
But you're right. That guy for the rest of his life, that guy is like he's like it's hero status for getting beat up. I mean, you're my hero. You took a punch from Mike Tyson, and then you stood up with busted face and got like pictures and all taken. Trevor Burbick can't say that. He was asleep before he hit the ground. Bone Crusher Smith can't say that. He was asleep when he fell into the ropes. Dude, you took Mike Tyson's punches, and you stood up and shared selfies.
That's awesome. It's a good story. Good story.
Is that not one of the best boxing names ever to be so bad? Bone Crusher Smith.
Oh, absolutely. And he wasn't terrible.
Mike Tyson made everybody at that time look terrible.
Absolutely.
Except Evander Holyfield. Remember they put like a middleweight in there with, Michael Spinks was a light heavyweight. I'm sorry. But 91 seconds.
True.
I thought he killed Michael Spinks. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Michael Spinks was dead. Galen?
Yeah, I think we all did. No, I'm here. I think we all did when he hit him.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I mean, we're like, okay, this could be a good fight. There was all this talk about, well, Tyson hasn't really fought anybody. And then he absolutely
91 seconds. 91 seconds. He took his soul. He did. Michael Spinks was never the fighter again. Never.
I don't think he was a human being again. You know, walking around.
He was.
Right? I mean, yeah.
Mike Tyson hit him one time, punch drunk, right there. Michael Spinks, good-looking guy, one punch. Now he's punch drunk. He looks like Grady from Sanford's son.
He was in great shape, and remember that was much like Ali's punch, the Phantom punch.
Yeah.
That thing was about a 7-inch punch, and it just caught him. Oh, it was awesome.
But it was the reason Mike Tyson was so great was because he had the punch that only Rock'em Sock'em Robots had.
That's right.
That uppercut was the Rock'em Sock'em Robot uppercut that would hit your chin and your head and go zzz, and you won the fight. That was Mike Tyson threw that Rock'em Sock'em Robot uppercut. That how he didn't decapitate people. How he didn't decapitate people is amazing. It was.
And again, I think the best part of Tyson was when he came in with the towel.
Just cut a hole in the towel. Right, exactly.
Let's go, dog. I thought it was.
Holding his gloves up together, blocking his mouth. Let's go.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And this guy, for the rest of his life, could say, Michael Spinks couldn't take a punch like I could.
Nope.
Bone Crusher Smith, I'd whip his rear end right now. That guy gets to say that because he stood up after the punching and took selfies with people on the plane.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. More with Galen, after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks on WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Major retailers Target, CVS, and Walgreens imposed baby formula purchasing limits to prevent hoarding as out-of-stock rates for the product soared to 31% nationwide. In several states, including Delaware, Montana, and Texas, the rate is over 40%. Courtney Houston is a mother of two, and she tells CNN.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying when that's the only true source of nutrition that your baby gets, because it would get to the point where you go to a store and you almost cry.
Senate Democrats are set to vote today on an abortion bill that would make abortion legal up until birth. Republicans are expected to block the bill, but Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says at least it will force every senator to reveal where they stand on the issue. You're listening to USA Radio News.
At Progressive, we know there's nothing like the feeling of riding a motorcycle with your crew on the open road. That symphony of engines roaring in perfect harmony. It's a feeling that would be impossible to recreate on the radio. Until now. Hit it, Jerry. Oh, my word. Really, really terrible. Is that a glockenspiel, Jerry? Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. No, Jerry. It's over.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign. And we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Now there's an exciting new treatment using natural biologics, regenerative solutions that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints. Hey folks, it's Tom Schmitz, and I'm talking about QC Kinetics, now open here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical regeneration, highly concentrated natural biologics that can give you lasting relief. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulder, hips, and you're tired of steroids, tired of pain meds, and talk of major surgery, this is the treatment you've been hoping for. Call the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. Learn about how natural biologics can be used to get you moving again pain-free. Listen, don't let them keep giving you steroids. Don't let them tell you your surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. They have offices now in Ocala and the Villages. Call 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
The Golden Spoon Diner and Seafood Restaurant, a true New York-style diner in Ocala. Try our breakfast special of 2 eggs served with home fries or hash browns and toast for just $4.49. We have an all-you-can-eat catfish special daily for $14.99, and Thursday through Sunday we have prime rib. Happy hour for food starts at 2 p.m. The Golden Spoon Diner and Seafood Restaurant is located at 5400 Southwest College Road in the Heathbrook Commons Plaza. Open daily from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. We will see you soon.
It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Beautiful two-piece sectional starting as low as $19 per month. Sofas for as little as $10 per month. Kick back in a new recliner for as little as $11 per month. Plus, you can save up to $700 off the Ashley Reeling Queen Bed and Dresser Mirror Set. And save 25% off all outdoor furniture. Mattresses starting at only $3.99. See it, buy it, take it home. It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, Ocala.
Hey, do you know there's an Italian bakery in Ocala? Well, there is. It's the Magnolia Italian Bakery, where you can get the best Italian specialties. We have Italian and New York cheesecakes, fresh-made cannolis, cream puffs, eclairs, and even custom and gourmet cakes. We even serve hot and cold lunch daily. I suggest you try the Italian special number 3. We even cater big and small events. So call ahead, 352-207-2667. Visit the Magnolia Italian Bakery. Manja. God bless.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Wednesday. Galen, you know, excuse me, from Life South joins as he does every day, brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, JustShip.net, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Hey, if you're wondering about calling, you cannot call the show today. The phone lines are down, so giving you a heads up, you cannot call the show today. You can, however, reach out to me on Messenger if you would like on Facebook. You can find Tom Schmitz, that's SCHMITZ, on Facebook, and send me a message on Messenger if you would like to be a part of the program today. Galen, now, admittedly, I'm 55. I've never had children that I'm aware of. Got to preface that just in case, you know what I mean? I have nieces and nephews, but I've never had to worry about them when they were infants about being able to feed them or anything. But it now says, now there are estimates that 1/3 of all the baby formula, total baby formula, is no longer available. That we only have about there's a shortage of about 32 to 35% nationwide. So what used to be 3 bottles of formula is now down to 2 bottles of formula, you know, on average. How big a deal is this? Because I don't have children and never had, so I don't have any kind of reference. How big a deal is this really, that there's a huge shortage, or seems to be a huge shortage in baby formula?
Well, when you have children and they're, let's just say, 0 to a year, right? And you're, I don't know a single child that never had formula. Whether you're supplementing the breast milk or you're just whatever. I know both of my boys had a lot of formula. And the fact that you're not able, so think about this, you're not able to feed your child. And as a parent, that has just got to eat you up, that you don't know where your child's next meal is coming from.
Even if you can afford to feed your child.
That's right. And it's not because I'm not working hard or, you know, it's just simply because that product that I was counting on, that was there, by the way, a year ago, you know, 9 months ago, is now just gone. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that anxiety. I mean, and I'd say this all the time. Once you have kids, you don't sleep well, ever. You just don't. And the fact that you're staying up going, okay, if my baby wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning because they're hungry, do I feed them now, or do I need to begin rationing what I'm feeding my child? I can't. That I don't like hungry kids anyway.
So this is a huge crisis. Yeah.
I think it's one of those that's going to be far bigger impact than we can imagine. I mean, what we've done to our children over the last 2 years because of the pandemic. I mean, every study that's starting to come out is how, you know, kids in states where they were remote learning, they're way behind in math, way behind in reading. Alcohol consumption's at an all-time high, right? Because that's something they can track. They can't track all of the other drug abuse. But Tom, this is going to be an issue that we talk about for a long time. Because, again, if parents do start rationing how much baby formula they give their child, that's going to impact their development. And I've heard it's a million reasons as to why there's this issue. But I haven't heard of a single solution yet. and that's
No.
a problem.
Well,
That's a real problem. You can't just shut down plants, and you can't stop imports from a country without knowing the ramifications of those. But that's kind of what we've done.
And knowing, if you're not getting it from this side, you better have it coming from the other side, because, like you said, there are children out there. This could deal with how they develop, the healthiness of how they develop it. Somebody said when I said that on a Facebook post, folks, this could deal with how child develops and everything, his growth rate and everything. They go, they didn't have formula in the 1800s. I go, yeah, and the infant mortality rate was 8 times what it is now.
Absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I mean, I know my oldest son. He was my wife stayed home for the first 9 months of his life, breastfed him as much as he could, but he at 3 months we were giving him formula with the rice in it, and because he was just hungry all the dang time. And you never want to see a child go hungry. And if you've ever been in that situation where your baby is starving and it takes you 7 minutes to make the formula, and that whole time the baby's crying because it's hungry, it hasn't eaten in an hour and a half, and the fact that you couldn't fix that problem, I couldn't imagine that pain. That is a real, and whether you're a mom or your dad, if you've had children, you can respect that. And I don't know how we got here. I'm not here to place blame, but we sure as heck need to figure out how to fix it. And I'm not looking to the government to fix it. I'm just looking to the government to get the heck out of the way.
Well, that's the thing. This is one of those problems. I don't care why it got caused. Just fix it. It's like everybody says. Everybody goes, "Aren't you concerned?" Everybody's like,
"Out of the way."
Yeah, everybody's like, "Aren't you concerned about oil prices and all?" Yeah, but
no.
I'm not. I could care less how we got to this point. I just want it cheaper. I could care less how we got to this baby formula issue. Just make sure that it gets fixed somehow. And the best way to get it fixed, as I say as a Republican and you say, is government get the hell out of the way. Let capitalism be capitalism and get the hell out of the way.
Sure. And I respect the stores that are putting a minimum on how much you can buy. I respect that. I understand that rationing. But this is by the way, this is the exact policies that the Bernie Sanders crowd, the AOC crowd want. Because Bernie Sanders has said many times that rationing is good. We used to joke about, the U.S. is in a bread line. We are now in a bread line for toilet paper, for all kinds of consumable goods, and for a basic necessity like baby formula. And I've heard people like, you can make it at home. No, you can't. It's not that simple. These formulas, they put in things. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No, because I don't have kids.
In there that the average person doesn't have the means or the wherewithal to make it. And yes, we require, and there's nothing better than the milk straight from the tap. I respect that, but not less than 30% of all children get all of their nutrition from their mother in today's day and age. Not that simple. And you can't just feed them milk. I heard that too. Like, just give them milk. That doesn't work. So, again, this is a real issue. It's a real issue.
It seems to be. It seems to have quite a few people up in arms. And I have a friend who has a newborn. Like 5 months, 6 months. I don't know what they must be going through.
Think about during the whole pregnancy, these same people were like, should I get the COVID vaccine? Should I get 2? Should I get 2 and the booster? Should I get 2 of the booster and another booster? How is this going to impact my child? I don't know. And then they come out and you're thinking, okay, I'm through the hard part. Now they're like, no, you can't feed them.
No, it's one of those things that I didn't have an understanding of because I don't have children, but it seems to be a major concern nationwide. And then you talk about not only is baby formula a major concern nationwide, but just the effects of this pandemic on children nationwide. and I don't usually tout CBS because CBS they're not NBC, but they're close. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't usually tout what they report. And when I was watching 60 Minutes the other night, they had some teenagers on that talked about how they had thought about committing suicide and everything. And now the teenagers listed reasons that I was like, well, that's just because they're not popular anymore. And the girls said as much. They were like, we miss going to school and being with our cheerleader friends and everything, and we were social animals. And then right after the pandemic, we weren't allowed to go out anymore. So we got suicidal thoughts and everything because we couldn't be Miss Popularity anymore. So, I understand that sounds superficial, but then you get to thinking about the isolation and everything of people who have never been isolated before, have never been in shutdown mode before, who aren't as developed brain-wise as an adult is and everything. And you go, man, maybe it is a bigger factor than you think. And this is nationwide, and we still don't know the mental effects it's going to have on children, from ages kindergarten, first grade age, all the way through high school students. Have no idea, but we're starting to see all these news broadcasts that are talking about the mental challenges of today's youth, and they're relating it to the 2 years of communism. COVID lockdown.
Yeah, well, same thing. And by the way, the baby formula, it's a national shortage. It's not a worldwide shortage. That's the other thing that bothers me. But you're right. I mean, think about like when you're in high school and you're a part of a team, right? You go to practice or you hang out with the guys from the team, how important that was in your life. And it's been gone for 2 years. Just take it away. Yeah. Or
it would be a serious concern to me to get denied my relationships in the locker room and my buddies and that interaction. It would have drove me crazy in high school. I mean, crazier than I was, let's be honest.
Well, and it's simple things like, when we were growing up, they would go to the mall.
Right? Or to the skating rink or something, yeah.
Or the movies.
Right?
That's like what
the putt place, stuff like that.
Sure. That's what my youngest son used to. He used to go to those movies with his friends once a week because that was their thing. And you take that away? Yeah, that's a big deal.
So when I first watched that news, I was like, whiny little brats, and then I got to thinking about it. I go, well, they actually may have, even though it was, it sounded like they were superficial. We're missing our social life, and we're missing this.
So important
to a 14-year-old. Social life is a huge deal.
Think about the lunch table.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've told multiple stories about the lunch table while we've been doing this show.
Oh yeah.
You took away the lunch table.
That's exactly which is the friend zone. You took that away.
Yeah, you that interaction, that one-on-one, that all of that's gone, and it was gone. One day you're in class, the next day everything's shut down, and then in some cases you didn't come back for 2 years. Thankfully, in Florida, we started, that next August, we started playing football. They allowed outdoor activities.
Right. We shut down in March. They only lost half of March, April, and May is all they lost in school. Right. They were back in school in August.
And in some cases, they shut down playgrounds, right? I said it from the time. I'm like, can't run from a virus. And I really believe that our reaction to the virus was far worse than the virus. Not saying it's not real, not what I'm saying, but I really believe that this was that our reaction to it was far worse.
I believe
long term.
That's what I think. I believe the reaction will have more long-term consequences than the virus had in the short term when it was taking people that were on respirators and everything. In the short term, people died. I understand that. The virus was real. But in the long term, when these 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds, what is the mental health bill going to be when they're 28, 29, 35, 36? Where are we going to be then? And that's the long-term effects of this shutdown, where they shut the world down for 2 years, basically.
Yeah, and again, and we're feeling the impact now. We'll probably feel it for the next 3 to 5 years, and then certain kids are going to live with it for the rest of their lives. And I think it will be a scar, and it is truly a scar for this generation of kids who are between the ages of, let's just say, 22, from 0 to 22. Let's say 5 to 22.
Think about all the grandparents and uncles and aunts and all that were maybe your favorite uncle, your favorite aunt, your loved ones or something, that because they lived 2 or 3 states away, you were on lockdown, you couldn't see them, and they passed away. That's devastating to a 12-year-old. If my grandfather there's no funeral. If my grandfather had passed away my grandfather passed away when I was 15. If my grandfather had passed away at 15 and we wouldn't have been able to go visit him in the hospital, it would have devastated my whole family, from the adults all the way through the small children. And those kind of things don't get talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no funerals
it's pretty
and stuff like that.
remarkable.
You know, what about the daughter who dreams? What about the daughter who dreams of her magical wedding and everything, and then had to settle for? Well, I had my fiance and my parents and his parents, and that's all we were allowed to have. You know, a girl who's dreamed her whole life of her fairy tale wedding, and it was her parents, his parents, and those two. That's it.
Well, and then also children were told, "Oh, you're a super spreader." Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I
you can't go see your grandparents because you're a super spreader.
You're a super spreader because you're too young to get vaccinated. Even though we now know the vaccines had an impact for about 4 months. Again, it's ridiculous.
I just don't think
absolutely ridiculous.
And I don't know that we'll ever know the complete damage that this pandemic has done.
No, there's no way you can. You know, they were too busy tallying deaths on the screen to really look at what the long-term impact of it was. And we don't even know really how many people died from COVID.
And I still believe to this day,
died with COVID.
I still believe to this day that a well-known hypochondriac, it is well documented that he's a hypochondriac and doesn't like germs, period, was duped by people who wanted to see if they could control the world. And I'm talking about President Donald Trump. The one time I think he got duped by the people around him, and the one time I think he got duped by the people that were against him, was Fauci and them, because they knew he was a germ. They knew he didn't like germs. He had a thing about germs, and he was a hypochondriac. So they convinced him, because of that background, knowing that background of him, that this was going to be the death knell, and he didn't want to hold that, and he could die and everything. And I think they scared the president into doing something he didn't want to do. That's just my thought, but that's how I look at it. That's how I see it.
Well, if you're the president, you're being bombarded by Fauci, who at the time was well respected. You're being attacked by all these people going, "This is a real virus. This is a real virus." And I'm sure he had some intelligence from China as to what was going on. And I think when he started, I think he really believed we're going to shut it down for 2 weeks.
We'll hit the bell curve and get back to work.
Well, because again, when you looked at the worst case scenario, it was Armageddon, and then the media just fed into it, I think it was a perfect storm, and then you get your people who want. There are people in our society who want lockdown. There are people in our society who don't want us to have a normal life, so therefore they can control us. Right? We know this. You know, the Bill Gateses of the world. By the way, Bill Gates got COVID. Unfortunately, he survived. But yeah, he's the most evil person on the planet. I
don't know.
Sorry.
If he is, George Soros is second.
Nope. Because Bill Gates does it subtly and does it with money. pull strings. Look what he did to the World Health Organization. By the way, he's so connected to Fauci and Dr. Bricks. It's unbelievable.
Well, their foundation is for population control. Says so in the
They're
name.
the largest.
Says so in the name.
They're large. That's right. They're the largest giver to the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
And they sterilized moms in Africa.
100%
documented.
Documented.
Undeniable.
Speaking of undeniable, let's switch gears.
Oh,
we got about 5 minutes. Talk about something to get you a little better mood. Tom Brady unretired. You know that, right?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about that Mane goal last night.
No, I still hadn't watched the game, so calm down, tough guy.
Ooh.
So,
okay.
Tom Brady unretired. You know that. And now, though, it was announced that as soon as he retires again, when he stops playing in the NFL, he will be Fox's new lead analyst. And the reported deal in his football career, just in his salary. Now, we're not talking about endorsements or anything, just in his football money. His Fox deal will make him $36 million more than his entire NFL career made him.
It's crazy. and by the way, I think he's going to be terrible.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be good.
Right?
I knew Tony Romo was going to be good. Tony Romo, I knew he was going to be good. I've seen him play.
Still good?
But I've seen him play golf and everything. I saw him interact. I know he's an entertaining guy. I've seen Tom Brady at the golf match and everything. He's boring.
Well, he's never going to criticize anyone. He's never criticized anybody in his life. Even the people who hate him, he doesn't criticize. And that's what a good analyst is critical.
You have to be.
He's going to be. This is just Fox going, look, we have a lot of money. Let's just throw it at it.
Well, and they lost Aikman and Nance, so, they got to do something.
True.
They got to do something. So, but I just was amazed that his Fox deal is going to be worth $36 million more than he ever made taking a snap under center in his entire career.
It's just crazy. It's crazy.
In his entire career.
Crazy money.
He made less money in his entire career. And by the way, this is not a short career. You want to talk about the ultimate compiler. He has been around. He's been around a long time, and still.
Wait, stop.
Yeah, he's a compiler. He's a compiler.
He's not. Yeah. He was in compilers when you're in the middle of the road or you're average.
How many years did he play?
Eddie Murray. Stop. I'm going to define this for you very simply. Eddie Murray is a compiler.
No.
Tom Brady was the top. He was a top 2 or 3 quarterback.
And I'm going to tell you,
he was healthy.
I'm going to make you.
That is not a compiler.
Yes, it is, and I'll tell you why.
You've had a long career.
No, I'll tell you why it's a compiler. I'll tell you why it's a compiler.
And
here's why.
Here's why. You didn't have a bunch of bad ideas. Now
here's
you're
why. Nope.
Tom Brady.
I'm going to prove. I'm going to prove
he's played for a long time.
I'm going to prove he's a compiler and use your words to say so. You said on this show, Henry Aaron was a compiler. He was the home run king. He wasn't a compiler, but because he played so long, you said he was a compiler. He was arguably one of the 4 or 5 best baseball players in the history of the game. And he is the home run king. But to you, he's a compiler because he played so long. Tom Brady's compiler, same reason. You said it. I didn't say it. You said it.
If I may, I'm going to explain. Hank Aaron, how many times did he lead the league in home runs?
4.
How many times did he get in the top 5 of most valuable player?
Twice.
Once.
Twice. 1956 and I want to say 61. And him and Eddie Matthews split the vote in 61. Roger Maris, I think, didn't Roger Maris win it that year?
Roger Maris won the MVP in the American League.
Yeah, but Henry was in the National League.
He never hit over 50 home runs.
Never.
Right? Never. He hit 40, 5 times.
6.
And in most of his career, he hit right around 35 home runs.
And he batted.
He was never.
He also has.
He was never.
He also has, walks, hits. Henry was a great player, one of the 3 or 4 or 5 best players in the game. But to you, he's a compiler.
Let me ask you this.
Hey, we got to go. We got to go. Where's the blood bank? We got to go. Where's the blood bank?
It's at my alma mater, Lord Highlands Elementary School. So check us out there, right on 36th Avenue. And give the Gift of Life Donate Barber also right on the boulevard.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, all.
Yesterday, end up $1.42 over last year at this time, and this driver tells NBC News,
"They're ridiculous, man. Can't, seem like you're working for gas."
A 15-gallon fill-up costs around $21 more this year than last. An escaped inmate is back behind bars in Alabama. Casey White was arraigned last night after arriving from Indiana. That's where he was caught Monday with the corrections officer accused of walking him out of jail on her last day of work. Vicky White, no relation, shot herself in the head as police closed in and died hours later. It's believed they had a romantic relationship for at least 2 years. USA Radio News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast Ag.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport. This is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The National Ag Statistics Service of USDA is reporting this week that as of Monday, 25% of the peanuts have been planted.